breaks your back, and if you look at the whole sky, you do feel that Earth is the center of the universe, right? Because the stars look as if surrounding the Earth, and it looks like as if sun is moving around the Earth, and that way Earth looks like as if the center of the universe. So it is no harm to start with a hypothesis and to start with an assumption and saying that Earth is the center of the universe. So if I see the religious notions, they actually start with certain observations. I mean, of course, those things which you cannot attribute a reason, or you could not attribute certain explanations, those were primarily attributed to the God. So it was obviously the fundamental difference of science and religion is the problem which was already discussed in the morning session also. In the morning session also, that the matter of change, when observation changed, so are we willing to, do we have the audacity, do we have the strength, do we have the courage to also change ourselves, change our viewpoints? One particular viewpoint can be there for a long time, but then we should have the courage to change that viewpoint when we observe that things are changing. So that was the main reason. And the other reason actually, if we see, if we see that particular case, that with progress of knowledge, science would have, kind of overtaken, or scientific outlook would have overtaken the religious outlook, but it has not happened. I mean, we call ourselves, some of the speakers also in the morning said about post-religious society, but I don't think, we are trying to, fool ourselves by saying that we are in a post-religious society where Ram Mandir becomes the main national issue. I mean, I don't think we are in a post-religious society. We are very much in the religious society. Then we must think also why religion continue to stay with the advancement of science. I mean, if you want to just analyze that, see, we can say, you can divide our knowledge into maybe 2 to 3 parts. We say, what we know, we know. I mean, we know what we know, and we know what we don't know. I mean, they generally written like this, right? कि हमको जो पता है कि हमको पता है, और हमको पता है कि हमको जो नहीं पता है. So what we know that we don't know. So with advancement of science, what happened is, so our sphere of knowledge increased, but at the same time, the sphere of the unknown also increased. I mean, initially we thought, maybe we are the whole thing, but later on we came to know that we are the speck of the universe. Or initially we had knowledge about only few diseases, but now there are thousands of diseases. So, overcoming the uncertainties or overcoming the unknown. So, science contributed not only in the building of the knowledge or building of what we know, but also it also contributed towards expanding the other part, that what we know that we don't know. Okay, so that also expanded, and that, see, whenever there will be certain sphere of or certain domain of things which we don't know, then there is a problem. Then obviously the God would reside, or the blind belief would reside, or the supernatural power would reside, because we would not be because there is not complete knowledge about the thing. But then I mean, as a scientist or as student of science or as a promoter of scientific outlook or as a fundamental duty of every citizens of this country that to have the scientific temper and spirit of inquiry, what is our responsibility is to basically chalk out the method. The method has to be scientific in the sense I might say something which I don't know, but I will not attribute that sphere of not known thing to something which is supernatural. So that should be the way forward, I think. I mean, as such, the science would say that until something is proved, yes, you can assume that that thing is not existing. And also, if I bring in Bertrand Russell's, China teapot paradox, so which is the following. So when this particular debate between the theist and the atheist were going on, and people were challenging the atheist that you prove that God doesn't exist. That time Bertrand Russell said, the onus of proof, the responsibility of proof should not lie with the person who is saying that that claim doesn't exist, but should be the onus should be on the claimant, or the onus should be on somebody who is claiming God exists. So therefore, the onus should go there. And to explain that, his paradox was the following. He said that if there is a China teapot, it should be, for example, maybe size of something like a chair. So he said, if a kind of this plastic chair is there circling in the solar system in a distance, maybe a mid-distance, midpoint between the sun and the earth. So
on the that principle right from the 30 years. And at this center, the main principle is the positive atheism, I say. It's not much more different as far as the scientific label is concerned. So I can say that both are having in a nutshell, having the same meaning. So what we need actually as a society, we need mainly the two things, the human rights and the evidence-based reasoning, that is the scientific outlook. The religious abuse of human rights and religious failure to adopt evidence-based thinking makes an atheist. We are still fearless because we are fighting in a world dominated by the religious fundamentalists for the human rights. An atheist believes in the evolution of mankind, which is explained by the proven science based on the reason and the logical thinking. But including India and other countries too, we are not only the unscientific country, the Western country, there also you find science is there. So there are also the people who have a strong belief in anti-evolution. These facts lead to political attacks on science understanding of climate change that prevent us from acting to prevent disaster. It interferes with the current topics of the research or the current age research, that is the stem cell research, setting back medical advancements, etc. It also hampers the sex education, leading to more unwanted pregnancies. In our country, India, the pseudoscience lead to attacks on science and technology in the name of ancient science, and through the government-sponsored national and international seminars and conferences, and diverting huge amounts of the grants for it rather than promoting the true science. The logical counter to religious extremism is that ask the people to make decisions based on the evidence. Yet, the voice of secular people is banning almost everywhere. And that's why we say we are in the minority. If you consider the example of the America, 45% of the Americans think that you have to believe in God to be moral, and the secular voices are considered immoral. Think about it. A huge percentage of Americans reject what we know about human evolution. Meanwhile, politicians who say the earth is fewer than 10,000 years old routinely win the elections. Those are unscientific. To give you an example, another controversial petition challenging the teaching of evolution and calling for the teaching of creationism in the schools and universities of Serbia is apparently going to be ignored. The petition, signed by about 170 Serbian academicians and intellectuals, was accompanied by a letter addressed to the Education, Science and Technological Development Ministry and the Committee of National Assembly, complained that there is no scientific evidence for the evolution and claim the acceptance of evolution on globalists and atheists. Then a society like us, the Serbian Biological Society, with a large number of Serbian scientific societies and the science faculty at a number of Serbian universities, made an appeal to the ministry and the committee, and they described evolution as the backbone of the modern biology, and they got success in making a positive impact on it. To give another example, in 2013 when Dr. Davarkar was died, but in Africa, another Nigerian human rights advocate and humanist and former Western and Southern African representative, Mr. Leo Mpe was there, who is also the International Humanist and Ethical Union representative, to speak at the London Black Atheist meeting called as the Breaking the Taboo of Atheism in the Black Communities, in which he said, and I quote, "God has not turned up. Black people should speak out because we suffer from most religious excesses." Further, in the next year, in 2017, when he talked in the TED Talk on humanism, he said how the example of his parents' hard work inspired him to adopt a philosophy that emphasizes human agency in his approach to challenges like poverty, disease and superstition, just like the Gora family and their sons and grandsons. He quoted sentence like, "In some cases, religion drives many Africans to attack other human beings, to commit ritual killing, targeting those living with albinism, those with a hump, and those with a bald head too. In Africa, superstition is widespread, with so many people believing in witchcraft, something that has no basis in the reason or in science. He provided a description of taste used to determine whether a person is guilty of practicing witchcraft. You will find those number of tests are heavily biased against the accused and include the use of the randomness of nature or the laws of science. Those are actually based on the pseudoscience. So, to lead a life as an atheist, a person should follow a method of critical thinking to categorize and scrutinize the information before accepting it as a fact by raising doubts, which are of 5 types according to the Igwe. So according to him, these doubts are of 5 different types. The first doubt is called as individual doubt, second one is inspired doubt, third one is inculcate doubt, fourth one is informed doubt, and the fourth one is internet doubt as far as the today's generation is concerned. The individual doubt labels one's personal questions based upon one's personal relation and experience to a given subject. The second type of the doubt, that is the inspired doubt, which refers to commending those who employ critical thinking and express doubts instead of freely accepting information as factual. The third type of doubt, that is inculcate doubt, highlights that while many people doubt naturally, critical thinking needs to be taught preferably from a young age, and that's why I also spoke in the morning that in the curriculum it has to be taught about the scientific temper. The fourth type of the doubt, that is the informed doubt, that identifies the need to express our critical thoughts in order to circulate them and encourage others to do the same. And the last type of the doubt, that is the internet doubt, displays a way to prompt further critical thinking by posing questions and receiving more questions in the response. So we are very familiar with the existential challenges of global climate change and unsustainable population growth facing mankind and the planet. Among the active largest forces of opposing and evidence-based response is the religion, which is not only the interferes with the advancement of the science and society, but with the personal freedom and human dignity. So, I would like to suggest some strategies in favor of the atheism. The first strategy is that the people themselves should declare openly that they are atheists. The purpose is to make non-believers feel they are not alone and assist them in becoming comfortable declaring they are non-believers. In turn, this exposes religious people to non-believing neighbors, friends, co-workers, and loved ones that may be related. When everyone knows that someone who is openly atheist, societal bias will decrease to some extent and eventually may disappear in the course of the time. The second strategy in the favor of atheism is a digital media to bring the online community into the campaign and multiply the reach of messaging and communications. And that's what I feel that this conference is trying to achieve, this kind of the goal through this particular strategy. The third strategy is the development of digital literature like video featuring non-believers in public safety positions, such as the commonly services like firefighters, military personnel, and also in the health-caring professions such as doctors and nurses, who will speak out about their secularism. The celebrity videos featuring actors, musicians, politicians, and sports figures as open atheists to help to show non-believers are everywhere. And the last strategy, the positive atheism, which is followed by the Gora Center, the Atheist Center and the Gora family. It leads to advancement of the human safety, security, health, achievement, prosperity, and most of all the science. You may be knowing that recently there was a campaign was conducted worldwide by the Atheist Alliance International on December 3, that is called as the Giving Tuesday. So this Giving Tuesday campaign, a global day of giving that harnesses the collective power of individuals, communities and organizations. Atheists should work for fundraising to provide support and resources to those in need. And through this particular campaign, a large amount of fund was generated, and the people they came to know that we are not the alone, but we are having a large support throughout the entire world. So Atheist Give via this Atheist Lighthouse is an alliance of secular organizations around the world who are working hard to make the world a safer place for the atheists and believers alike. Many of the organizations participating in it are working at every corner of the world. We are asking too many questions, can be dangerous and can get them killed. So I think these are the few strategies which we should follow, so that what we say that we are in the minority, we will turn into the majority. Jai Hind sir. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Thank you very much to the ATHEISM Center for giving me the opportunity to speak in front of you about science and scientific temper. And actually, I would like to speak about what is the status of the scientific temper in India. And I should be, I would like to express that I am very sorry to say that the status of scientific temper in India is very, very low. And it is going down every day. And with the type of people at power and everyone peddling the non-scientific attitude and spreading the non-scientific attitude among the people, and calling that as the symbol of their progress, or being even Indian, or being patriotic. All these things are being spread in the name of under because of a lot of nonsense which is doing like against the scientific temper. So, but how do they this is not how the India of Nehru was supposed to be. If you remember, Nehru was one of the first person, probably among other leaders also. And Nehru was the one who promoted a scientific temper. And though it was not incorporated into the constitution at that time, later his daughter Indira Gandhi incorporated that into the constitution. And then the Article 51H, that to promote scientific temper is one of the fundamental duties of every Indian citizen. But hardly any people know that this is our fundamental duty, and hardly any people care about this particular duty, which is very, very important for the benefit of this nation. Without scientific temper, there cannot be any progress. That is very sure. And that should be the real basis for the progress of this nation. Everybody agrees that science is the basis. But very few people are ready to agree that scientific temper is the basis. And many people do not even understand what is this scientific temper. So I would, to make it very, very short, and also, let me first clarify this problem, that a lot of people think that scientific temper is supposed to be related only to the scientists. It is wrong. And on the contrary, if you see, I am again very sorry to say, many scientists in India do not display this scientific temper. That is the worst part. Many of the scientists, though they are rationalist in their thinking or whatever it is, they are afraid to even talk about scientific temper. They can only talk about science, but not scientific temper. That is the pity situation in India. Not many people are ready to come out and speak out. Like Professor Vandana came out today and spoke in the dais today. Not many people like that are there who can come out and speak their mind in the public. That is another worst part. In fact, I should also tell that once I wrote to a lot of Indian scientists, lot of the top Indian scientists, about the spreading of this Indian scientific temper in India, and how they can come out and how they can work. And I am very sorry to say, a lot of people replied saying that they are not interested, or many of them did not even bother to reply. Those who replied also say, and one of the two comments I would like to say, what is the use of telling, the people are all kind of fools, they don't listen to us. That is one way of thinking. Another is, they are afraid that, they will be hated. That is another sad affair. That just to tell the truth, you get hated. In Telugu there is a saying called Yatharthavadi Loka Virodhi. So that is the status of affairs. That means if you tell the truth, you become the enemy. That is the status of Indian. And so if you have seen, so that is why I would like to say, here I would like to say, scientific temper does not mean knowing science. No, that is not the meaning. The meaning is to differentiate between truth and falsehood. That is scientific temper. How does science progress? How did science come to the stage of today? By talking like what we call as calling a spade, or differentiate between what is true and what is false. If something earlier what was believed to be true, if something evidence is there which today it says that it is false, we are ready to accept that it is false and then accept the new truth. That is the scientific temper. But we are all, kind of chained or caged into some believing that there is an eternal truth which never becomes false. That is the basis of religion, and science is based on continuous exploration of truth and development of that truth and widening of that truth over a lot of things. And that, my dear friends, this is not just science. It applies to each and every branch of knowledge, be it economics, be it social, be it history, and be it law, whatever it is. We are in pursuit of truth and betterment of truth and widening of the truth and understanding and establishing what is true and learning to differentiate between what is true and what is false. And unless that particular thing is inculcated in the young minds, it is not possible for the people to learn what is science and what is non-science. So that brings me to the topic that people are many times getting confused, and many times the people are taking advantage of spreading non-science or nonsense as a science. This is one of the biggest thing which is happening today. So this is one of the things, like so in very famous, in the very prestigious science congresses, for example, people have the guts to say that the fixing of Vinayaka head is kind of a plastic surgery or something like that. So obviously people don't even know what is the difference between mythology and science. That is the status of affairs. And we are encouraging, either directly or indirectly, this kind of falsehoods being spread in India among, in fact that is the worst part, among the educated elite. And if somebody can speak that kind of thing in front of all the scientists in an Indian Science Congress, we can imagine what is the level of our science and scientific temper in India. I don't think any other country this can happen. Maybe some downgraded countries I do not want to compare. I want to compare with the better, not the worst. So that is another problem. So what I would like to do, of course now I am going to retire. Now personally I am a PhD in physics from Indian Institute of Science, and I have been always in favor of developing science and scientific temper. But unfortunately due to my job or whatever it is, so I was not able to directly involved in physical this thing. Though on the internet and on the Facebook I am spreading a lot of this ideas of science and scientific temper and how to think and what is the relevance in terms of social relevance of science and scientific temper. So I would like to devote my post-retirement life into this, and I would like to go to the school level or college level and train the students from that age onwards And so I have already mentioned in terms of how science is supposed to differentiate between what is truth and what is false. And at the same time, there is one more thing which the students should learn, and that is to differentiate between what is good and what is bad. That is another big problem. People do not even know how to differentiate between what is good and what is bad. That is another problem where religion takes the place, and they seem to define what is good and what is bad. And it is time for us, rationalists, atheists, humanists, whatever name you call free thinkers, whatever name you call, but all of us, we should define what is good and what is bad for the society. And that is what all of us are working towards. And we should be clearly defining how to do that. They should learn, it is not, we should not tell them what is good and what is bad, but instead we should make them capable of learning how to recognize what is good and what is bad. Similarly, we have to make them learn how to recognize between what is truth and what is false. If people can be made to differentiate between these two things, then I am very sure there will be a lot of progress in this country. Thank you very much.
Today's session, Science and Scientific Outlook and Atheistic Way of Life, that was chaired by Dr. Krishnan and both the speakers, they have excellent mention between science and scientific outlook and scientific temper. And as I belong to Atheist Center and Atheist Center activities, especially I look after the science and environment activities. So today I would like to share a few of my practical thoughts, because last 60 years I have been involved with the youth of medical engineering colleges, arts and science and schools, and also parents, teachers. All our programs we invite, it's open. So what we have been doing, we are organizing magic science training programs, science exhibitions, essay writing, quiz, and so many things, including drawing for all the science days or anti-superstition day like 13th September. This year happened to be Friday also. So many activities we have been taking up for the last 60 years. But of course, if I go back to Gora times, it's almost 100 years. We started in 1920s. So, as I am the fourth son of Gora, I am also with him in lectures and demonstrations and other things. So all of our programs are more demonstrative for each and everything, as our speakers earlier said, to develop scientific temper. And questioning is the very base for that one. Recently, 10 days back, last Thursday, there is a solar eclipse. Practically, it's a total solar eclipse of annular. Narendra Naik and some of you are Tamil Nadu and Kerala people also might have observed, because the umbra has passed through at Kasargod. Narendra Naik also arranged. He is going to explain you in the evening all these things. So, what we have been doing, there is a photograph also, Saraswati Gora looking after the solar eclipse. This building was inaugurated on the total solar eclipse which occurred here on 1980, February 16. So, in 1980s, everybody is afraid. Even in the newspapers, radio, there is no TV at that time. And they said, if you look after the eclipse, you lose your eyesight. And if you eat, you get stomach and disease. If the pregnant woman, if they view the eclipse, their offsprings will be they have some deformities. But Gora in Ceylon in 1928, when my elder sister, we might have seen today, that Manorama, she is 93 now, and she was under the womb. And Gora said, because there is a lot of per eclipse things and superstitions, let us go and see, enjoy, eat. And what happened to our child? Nothing has happened. And we made so many demonstrations. And still in 2020 also, I mean 19 December 26th, when I asked so many women, come and we see through the filters, one woman, she is pretending, seeing like the sun with the screened glass. I said, you are not seeing the sun, just you are pretending it. So, how much the religious thing is in them. So that's why the lady doesn't want to see the sun. Something will happen. She came forward, but she doesn't refuse to see the sun. Something may happen. So there is a little bit relaxation. Earlier there is no relaxation. So in Atheist Center activities, when we conducted magic science, last 20 years we are conducting magic training camps. And in the students, when they come after some time, what is your experience? They said, we are more questioning and attentive in the classes. We are ready to know many things, because miracles are nothing but is a magic trick. They are also doing performance, other things. So in this way. Now I have a little bit doubt also, because all these stalwarts are here. I thought of mentioning understanding the state of science and technology to curb pseudoscience. That is very important. The state, because I said it's a level or something, state means, see now we are sending from ISRO all rockets. What the chairmen are doing? They are not giving themselves. So their technology, I doubt, may not be true. There is no truth. Because they are just praying the God that Chandrayaan 2 should be landed. The experiment is very successful, but not landed properly. The main reason they have not kept their time in getting the experiment successful. Suppose if there is a failure, God has not seen us like this, like that. So every time they are going to the God and praying, the success will be there. So the state of science and technology, now we have to question in curbing the pseudoscience. Pseudoscience, you all know, non-scientific things. As Ganesha drank milk in Delhi, it went like wildlife. Within 5 minutes, our all the news people, media people say it's nothing but properties of matter, a cohesive force. See, the matter exists like solids, liquids and gases. They have intermolecular force. Solids have more, that's why it is more solid. And liquids, it's a fluids, so they can flow. And gases everywhere. So when milk was fed to Vinayaka, Vinayaka is a solid, whether it is a rock or a gold or something, anything. But milk is a liquid, and moreover it has a sticky nature. So when you put it, actually they fed the milk. Even you bring your spoon near to that one, slowly it attracts, becomes a self-siphon and comes down. You can observe anything, even water, this water bottle you can show. Get a milk and put in any of the bends here, or see the observe without feeding. The water will slowly come down. That's practically you fed the milk. So the technologies and science what I observe, there are two varieties. One is technology for our purpose. So we invent. Computer is an invention. And suppose some of them are natural. See, the sticky plaster, the Vicrobi we call it, we are now using for boots and child garments, other things. See, the scientist, he went to the forest and found for his dog and for his trousers, some seeds were stuck to him. And it's a natural discovery. But his technology is, why can't we use that property? So he made a sticky gum plaster. Now we are using. So in this way, those two technologies and science, what we have, if an atheist looks at the technology, that will become a proper one, like TNT. See, Alfred Nobel, why he is giving prizes? He invented because the labor were very much suffered. That's why he made trinitrotoluene for breaking the gun, mountains and other things, rocks breaking. But that was made into gunpowder. The others they used it as a gun, but he thought it should be useful like nuclear energy. In the similar way, our technologies and sciences, when we look from the angle of atheism, that means questioning, truth, scientific temper, it looks different. And if you look from the other end, the universe is more open, it will be different. Recently, for Gora's death anniversary, I have been reading in the newspapers, there is one subject. In India, the cultures and traditions are becoming superstitious. So I thought, why can't I give to our school children, college, and things. So I gave a topic, same thing. In India, cultures and traditions are becoming superstitious. So I thought generally 300 to 400 people they come. To my surprise, this hall, bottom hall, open place, and nearly 850 people, students, mainly from engineering colleges, medical colleges, arts and science, and schools. And I also invite parents and teachers also, and government servants also. They all participated. And after going through all the essays, and I came to know culture is different, tradition is different, and our fear is the superstition, making our fear, making us superstitious. And they also suggested, suppose you want to become a rationalist or a free thinker or questioning power, you should have a positive attitude. A person should have a positive attitude for a change. So you should become change makers. There should be change makers. So they mentioned we should have a positive attitude. And that only not sufficient, because he is conversing with his friends, relatives, and parents. They should also have the positive attitude. And he is going to the college or a school. The teacher should have a positive attitude. Not only that, if only the teacher will have a positive attitude, not enough. The institution should have a positive attitude. Not only that, the media, daily we are seeing the media, TV, all superstitious and violent and so many things. So media should have a positive attitude, both print and video. And not only that, the government should also have a positive attitude for science and technology, the scientific temper, and for all these things. So all these things, so in making a free society, you should have a positive attitude, then only the society should also have the positive attitude. So in developing scientific temper, we need to drive our modern youth towards all these things. So all practical problems we can solve. The questioning is very important. Questioning is very important. And now the time is over. I request our chairman to invite some of you and say some words on it. Thank you very much.
My name is Chandrasekhar. I am atheist and rationalist. గోరా గారు ఇప్పుడు ప్రకటించుకోవాలి మీరు ఇక్కడ కూడా నీ భావాలను పబ్లిక్ ప్రకటించుకోవాలి గోరా గారు నీ నాస్తికుడు నేను ప్రకటించుకోవాలి ఎక్కడ అందుకనే ఏ మీటింగ్కి వెళ్ళినా మొట్టమొదటిసారి నాస్తికుడు. అయితే సమాజంలో ఈరోజు సైన్స్ మీద
he says one should have to express as an atheist. I am an atheist. As Gora said, I am an atheist. Like that. He says everyone should have to declare that I am an atheist. Like that.
సైన్స్ కేవలం చదువు వరకే చదువుకుంటున్నాడు, నేను అక్కడే పెట్టేస్తున్నాడు. కానీ ప్రశ్నించడం, పరిశీలించడం, నిర్ధారణ చేయడం సైన్స్ దృక్పథం. అదే సైన్స్ చదువుకున్న వాళ్ళు గుళ్ళు గోపురాలు వెళ్తున్నారు. అదే సైన్స్ ఫిజిక్స్ చదువుకున్న వాళ్ళంతా కూడా ఇస్రో చైర్మన్ గారు కూడా తిరుమలకు వచ్చి దండం పెట్టుకొని పైకి ర్యాకెట్లో వెళ్తున్నారు. అది అదర్ కంట్రీస్లో ఎవరు వదులుతున్నారు విధంగా. అందువల్ల సైంటిఫిక్ అనేది కేవలం పుస్తకం వరకే పరిమితం అవుతుంది కానీ వ్యక్తిగతంగా ఎవరు కావు. ఎందుకంటే 70 ఏళ్ళు అయింది మన భారతదేశానికి నోబెల్ ప్రైజ్ వచ్చి ఫిజిక్స్లో, ఇంతవరకు నోబెల్ ప్రైజ్ రాదు సైన్స్లో. అందువల్ల ప్రతి ఒక్కరిలో ఒక శాస్త్రీయ దృక్పథం భావజాలం మన భావజాలంలో రావాలి. అందువల్ల నాస్తికత్వం అనేది
we are studying science, but practically we are not into practice. That he says. Okay.
ఎథియిజం అనేది ప్రతి మనిషికి కావాల్సింది. ఎథియిజం నాస్తికత్వం అనేది మన భావజాలంలో ప్రతి ఒక్కరు రావాలి. కానీ ప్రపంచ దేశాలంతా కూడా అక్కడంతా మేము నాస్తికులు ప్రకటించుకుంటున్నారు. కానీ మన భారతదేశంలో చదువుకున్న వాళ్ళు కూడా నాస్తికులుగా ఎవరు కావట్లేదు. ఈ సమాజానికి విముక్తి, మానవ జాతికి విముక్తి, కుల మత రహితం కావాలనుకుంటే నాస్తికత్వమే దానికి దారి కానీ వేరే మార్గం కాదని ఒక హేతువాదిగా, ఒక నాస్తికుడిగా మీకు చెప్తూ నేను వినిపించుకుంటాను. థ్యాంక్ యూ.
I am Dr. Madhu. I am Dr. Gora and Saraswati Gora. Only one thing I want to speak with you. Auspicious time. Which is auspicious time? Every time is an auspicious time. So everybody is asked, because I am a gynecologist. If any cesarean goes, they will ask me, you do in the auspicious time. Where is the auspicious time? If normal delivery, who will say? See, we are all born normally. See, there is no auspicious time. We didn't see inside the womb. We born. We are all good. I am a doctor now. I didn't see any auspicious time when I am in the womb of the mother. So there is no auspicious time. If anybody asks, I never do that auspicious time. All times are auspicious. Only our mission is auspicious. If any difficulty is there, if you do cesarean, that is the good time. If you take long time for the auspicious time, this is the bad time for the baby. So thank you very much. So there is no auspicious time.
Science, scientific temper in atheism. First we have to understand what science is. According to encyclopedia, science is the pursuit of knowledge and understanding of the natural world following a definite method. And if we analyze it, scientific knowledge is always evidence based, and science gives progressive knowledge of facts. Science has incorporated a methodology which is self-corrective. So, and modern science started only after the European Renaissance and Enlightenment. After the European Renaissance came the age of science, modern science so to say, and what we call science today was called in Indian time as natural philosophy. That is a different topic. On this topic, hours can be, we can deliver it for hours together, but there is no time. But the question is, it was one Francis Bacon, a philosopher of the 16th century. For the first time, he promoted the idea of scientific method. The world around us, the vast cosmos around us is so complex and so complicated. Still, we have to know what scientific knowledge is. And according to his analysis, it is observation, formation of hypothesis, verification of the hypothesis, and generalization. These four steps constitute the process of scientific knowledge. Scientific knowledge. I can tell you a very funny story. You might have heard, most of you have heard the name of Aristotle. Aristotle was a great philosopher, a great genius. He has made tremendous contribution to many branches of human knowledge. Aristotle had 2 wives, but Aristotle, it is Bertrand Russell, in his famous book, Impact of Science on Society, has written this, that it was Aristotle who told that women, their voice is sweeter, that they sing sweetly because they have less teeth than their male counterparts. This idea never occurred to Aristotle to ask his wife, please open your mouth and I will count the number of teeth you have, though he had 2 wives. So, knowledge of science started with observation of facts. So, it was Francis Bacon. It was Francis Bacon, a philosopher of the 16th century. For the first time, he developed the methodology that is to be used to get knowledge of science. And the method consists of 4 steps, that is observation or experiment. I can analyze it, but there is no time. What is observation, what is experiment, and when a phenomenon is occurring and we do not know its cause, we take different suppositions. As our chairman was speaking, that we call it hypothesis. Hypothesis is a provisional supposition to explain a phenomenon with some principle. So, insofar science is concerned, then the hypothesis that is formed will be verified again and again, and if it is found to be true, then it can be made a theory or it can be made a law. So, there are some laws in science. What is a law? A natural law is the exceptionless regularity which we find in nature. So, a scientific law or a natural law is that which is based on the idea that there is no exception to it. So the exceptionless regularity of nature is called a scientific law. And further, when we call a scientific theory, a theory is constructed by human mind to explain some phenomena. Laws are discovered, theories are constructed. This is a very fundamental difference between scientific law and scientific theory. Then comes the idea of science. So, shall I conclude? Yes. So, similarly, there is the concept of scientific temper, open mind, to have an open mind, to be committed to truth, and to adopt the scientific procedure to have knowledge. So, in this way, we can make deliberations on this topic for hours together, but there is no time. Thank you for giving me this brief period to speak something.
Fundamentalist, religion fundamentalist. But we cannot say, you have a fear that I am an atheist. So really speaking, what you are there from the childhood, when I was 10 years old, I did not believe God. I did atheism. Nobody says if you are atheist also, whoever is present, how to increase the number and reach so that we can have the courage to speak that we are atheists.
यही करूँगा कि ये जो टॉपिक था कि साइंस एंड अथेइज्म कैसे रिलेटेड है. सो अथेइज्म वही चीज़ है बेसिकली, वेदर आप साइंटिस्ट हो या वेदर आप अथेइस्ट हो, एक चीज़ उसमें कॉमन है कि आपका फ्री थिंकिंग होना चाहिए और करेजियस होना चाहिए. अगर आपके पास करेज है तो साइंस में वही चीज़ आप प्रूव करने के बाद अगर आपको एक्सेप्ट करने में आपके पास करेज नहीं है तो प्रॉब्लम होता है. अगर आप इसरो के साइंटिस्ट हैं और आप सैटेलाइट को तिरुपति ले जाते हैं पूजा के लिए, तो आपके पास करेज की मिसिंग है, आप वो चीज़ को मानने के लिए तैयार नहीं. तो ये जो आज का जो थीम था, थीम में यही था कि आप अथेइज्म के अंदर साइंस, एक्चुअली साइंस के अंदर अथेइज्म, एक्चुअली एक तरह से एक कॉइन की दो पार्ट है, आई मीन दो साइड है. इसी हिसाब से है क्योंकि अथेइज्म भी वही बोलता है, आई कैन कॉल माई सेल्फ एन अथेइस्ट टिल यू प्रूव गॉड इज देयर, आई मीन समथिंग लाइक दैट. साइंस ऑल्सो से द सेम, that you don't believe on something till it is proved. So that's how both atheism and science is related. Fundamentally, questioning, free thinking, आप डेवलपमेंट का बात बोलते हैं तो डेवलपमेंट में ही बोला जाता है कि आपका एक्सपांशन ऑफ फ्रीडम होना चाहिए. अमर्त्य सेन इसी बात को बोल के थ्योरी ऑफ पूरा उनका कैपेबिलिटी अप्रोच उसी पे है. कहने का मतलब ये है कि ये जो फ्रीडम है, ये फ्रीडम कंस्ट्रेन हो जाता है ब्लाइंड बिलीफ के साथ. अगर क्वेश्चनिंग एबिलिटीज को हम कंस्ट्रेन कर देते हैं तो हमारा फ्रीडम ही कंस्ट्रेन होता है. तो आपको फ्री थिंकिंग को प्रमोट करने के लिए दैट इज नथिंग बट साइंटिफिक टेम्पर, दैट इज नथिंग बट अथेइज्म. सो आई थिंक विद दैट नोट इफ यू वांट टू हैव a few questions please.
From our state's experience, I am supplementing the data. In Kerala, many of the ardent atheists are promoting pseudosciences like homeopathy, naturopathy, and even biofarming. That we have to challenge because in Kerala, people are so much cultivated with this homeopathy, naturopathy, biofarming, etc. By many of the atheists even are following these practices. So we have to identify that these are not science, these are unscientific. We have to fight against these ideas also. And even politically, Kerala is left, and the left parties, especially the communist parties, they are promoting, always quarreling with us that dialectical materialism is the true science. So actually dialectical materialism is not scientific and unscientific, and we must also tell loud that dialectical materialism is not scientific. Thanks.
We must have the courage to say, even I don't know, rather than attributing it to some supernatural being. So that's that. Thank you very much to all the speakers, and I now invite the organizers to arrange the questions. Thank you very much.
మరిన్ని కొత్త వీడియోల కోసం మా ఛానల్కి సబ్స్క్రైబ్ చేయండి, క్రింద ఉన్న బెల్ ఐకాన్ని యాక్టివేట్ చేయండి.